Welcome, welcome. We are back with another episode of the Tech Behind FinTech. I'm your host, Nnamdi Osuagwu. Tech Behind FinTech, where we discuss the technology behind FinTech and also just some late breaking news. Today's going to be basically a news day, but we have a lot to cover, a lot of different things happening. We just want to discuss. We're going to end it with just talking about authentication due to the crypto.com hack, but we have few topics to go over prior to getting to that. If you are with me today, definitely give a shout. Happy Friday to everybody. Want to see my peoples. You guys always so just to let you know, right? We're streaming live right now on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So, without further ado, let's jump into the topics of the day. I feel like it's like a drum roll should go like ding 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 ding. Topics of the day. Okay, but all right, let's get serious. All right. First news, major. So Microsoft just made a play to acquire Activision. So and I guess that's their move into the metaverse. If you do not know, Activision is a major gaming franchises. So, unless you've been under a rock, you've heard of Call of Duty. You know, people of all ages are playing it. World of Warcraft, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Overwatch, just various games that's going to be added to Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass. So they have about 25 million subscribers there. Um, Microsoft said this will play a key role in the development of metaverse platforms. So it should be exciting things happening for there. The price 69 billion. A message from the CEO together with Activision. We will usher in a new era of gaming that puts players and creators first and makes gaming safe, inclusive, and accessible to all. So yeah, Microsoft outlined that the acquisition will support the growth of its services across mobile, PC, console, and cloud gaming. Also notably stated that it will provide building blocks for the metaverse. So the metaverse, everybody's talking about this, right? It's pretty big stuff. We're going to go into Facebook's move. It's the next thing. So I tried to move something there. I have like multiple computers going on. All right, let's move on to the next slide. So as you know, Facebook changed its name to Meta. Um, uh, that's the new name of the company. And what they're going to be doing, which I find very, very interesting, they're going to be integrating NFTs into Facebook. So you could essentially make your NFT your profile picture or your Facebook obviously owns Instagram. You can make your NFT your profile picture. So the integration will allow social media users to display their NFTs on Facebook and Instagram. What else do we have to talk about that? Yeah, so they're diving into NFTs by integrating the feature that let users show off the NFTs on their Facebook and Instagram profiles. They are currently working on prototypes that will also allow users to mint collectible tokens. When you mint something, you sell it. So that would be very interesting. I mean, if you so funny, right? Like during the during when we were locked down in 2020, um, Facebook Marketplace for weights. It was just so that was like a big thing. Like every all weights were like at home. People, everyone was setting up an at home gym um, on it in general. Like on my at least the people that I know. So getting weights was just so scarce, man. It was a process. So you would go on Facebook Marketplace, somebody would be selling their weights, and during in 2020 with COVID, obviously, everyone wanted to like distance themselves. So you'll pay the dude or if you'll pay the person electronically on one of the services like Vimo or whatever, then they'll give you their address and put the weights on their porch. Yeah, it was a whole process. So, but it was just funny. Like, we used Facebook Marketplace to coordinate that. So, should be interesting to what happens with the whole with the NFT space, and I can definitely see things being bought and sold there, which will be huge. Uh, what else? So just to let's throw some statistics up. So OpenSea is a platform, an NFT platform, and they just surpassed 3.5 billion in monthly transaction volume. This means that over 169 million are being spent each day in NFT trading just within the platform. That's one platform. I'm going to repeat those numbers. So OpenSea surpassed 3.5 billion in monthly transaction volume. So there's so NFT transactions just on that platform. We're not talking about Rare. We're not talking about the other platforms. Just that one, 169 million a day. So obviously, Facebook moving into that play will be crazy. They say, according to NFT sales tracking statistics, the NFT market has a total of 25 billion in all-time sales so far. So it's definitely something to look into. All right, what's our next topic of the day? If you're watching, let me know that you are alive. Give a shout out on the chat, engage. Let me know if what's your opinion on it. Let's get into it. Like I said, the last topic we're gonna go into is the crypto.com hack. I like the way they handled it, but we'll save that. We have some other news to cover prior. So what's next? Yeah, this one's funny. So New York has a new mayor, NYC Mayor Eric Adams. He made the pledge, man. He's all in for crypto. He's been talking about crypto, so he's gonna start receiving his first paychecks in cryptocurrency. So just so you know, right? Due to the United States Department of Labor and various state level regulation, resident U.S. employees cannot receive their pay via cryptocurrency. So this is partly because the IRS classifies dollar wage payments as income, whereas items such as stock, base compensation, and cryptocurrencies are classified as property. So he's going to receive his money as usual, but then he'll convert it, I think, on Coinbase or on Coinbase to either Bitcoin or a combination of Bitcoin and Ethereum from what I've seen so far. But I think that's major. I think that's showing that I mean from hearing him from reading some articles, it's just once New York has always been top of the financial food chain, and he just wants to reemphasize that with new technologies and crypto. I'm not mad at it. I think the Miami here, I think we talked about this like last year sometime. It's both like they're going back and forth. So it's interesting. Obviously, crypto markets, as you know, are down. If you don't know, they're pretty down right now. But it's just really interesting what's going on. So let's go on to the next. Okay, this article that I read this week, totally excited about this. I find it very interesting. So there's a fintech called Milo, not like the drink from my like my Caribbean master people always drink. Yeah, but not there is a company called Milo, and what they're doing is offering crypto-backed mortgages. So obviously you have to have it's really Bitcoin-backed mortgages. I think they're going to expand to other cryptocurrencies later on. So what does that mean? Um, they target a lot of from reading about it. They target a lot of foreign like internationals, right? So if you want to buy property or invest in property in the U.S., usually you don't have outside of the U.S. you don't have social security number and other forms of credit that banks here tend to rely on. But what they're introducing is 30-year low interest rate U.S. crypto mortgage. It allows qualified borrowers to hold their Bitcoin and buy real estate. So you'll put it. They basically, you can't obviously touch the Bitcoin. They'll put it in some sort of escrow, I guess, or something like that. And then what happens is they use that to provide the mortgage. So totally outside of credit and everything. So what? Let's read something that they said here. The crypto loan industry is already taking shape as the cryptocurrency market marked a notable year in 2021 when it briefly soared beyond 3 trillion crypto-backed loans. So there are a number of DeFi platforms that offer crypto-backed loans. So if you have your crypto there, you can borrow, I don't know, sometimes 50% of the value the cash, and you just pay it back. But this crypto-backed mortgage is pretty new, and they're saying they're the first to do it. Um, they also said, like other crypto loans, if like right now we see that crypto is down, especially Bitcoin, they can do a margin call. So if crypto goes down by a certain amount, they could be subject to that, but they do have the opportunity to pledge more and mitigate against those factors, said the CEO. They also said transactions are structured to minimize the impact of price volatility. So, and I mean, I find it very interesting, right? So, that was like the major problem for your crypto holders. Like, okay, what do you have it? You don't want to sell it, but you need money. So I think that's when the crypto loans came out, and you just pay that back. But now with this idea of a mortgage, obviously there's a risk with the margin call, because having to now, if your crypto goes down a certain amount, you have to find the money to pay, but pay back the loan or pay back a certain portion of it to mitigate Milo's risk. I would love to dive into the technology behind that and just see what they're doing. So put an open call out to anyone at Milo. Definitely want to talk to you guys. So they're saying it's the first crypto mortgage. Yeah, it's so he said that the crypto mortgage market could be worth tens of billions of dollars. So, like I said, I think the innovation is very interesting. So, a little background on myself. I'm a technologist, true and true. You could tell by my LinkedIn profile, but also on the side, I've been always passionate about real estate. So I've had a real estate license actually since 2003. It's just a way to close my own deals per se, but in the state of PA. But yeah, this merging those two worlds, and it's funny. Ironically, I was talking to some friends of mine, and we just had this. Oh, I came up with it, but we just talking about cribs and crypto, meaning like houses and crypto, and reading about this company. Found that pretty timely in terms of the conversations I've been having with some of my close friends. Okay. Yeah, a lot happening, man. We're breezing through these articles, but let's get into one more before we start talking about the security breach over at crypto.com. So, next one, El Salvador. So, El Salvador's last year made a big move on just establishing Bitcoin in their local market and making it a part of their economic structure officially. So now what they're doing is said like El Salvador has roughly 1.2 million businesses in the country. Roughly 66% are micro businesses. Over 90% of micro businesses are self-funded via informal loans or loan sharks. So what they're doing is figuring out a way to provide low interest Bitcoin backed loans for these businesses. So let's read a quote from Monica Tahir. She's a government advisor. The Bitcoin small loans will provide access to digital money for the unbanked while helping them create credit history. El Salvador's economy will strengthen by empowering the small businesses. So here's what's happening right now, right? So outside of these crypto-backed loans, um, one of there was here's an example, right? So there was they cited that $100 loan taken out by a micro business. Now, $100 may not necessarily, you're in the U.S. it might go for $100, but no, if you look at certain economies, $100 just could be a lot. But let's say $100 taken out by a micro business will typically come with terms of full repayment in 20 days, while the interest rate could be $15 a day, and in some cases, the annual interest rate for loans exceeds 10,000%. That is crazy. I mean, if you really think about it, right? Like, that's obviously like they said, right? So a lot of these micro businesses are self-funded via informal loans or literally loan sharks. Um, if you're in real estate, you would hear this term called hard money, and that they usually give you short-term loans. And everyone always says their interest is crazy because they get their money coming in and coming out, and it's very expensive. It's not your typical, but it's risk, right? Because you're rehabbing a spot. But this 10,000%, think about it. You lend a small micro business $100, but you want $15, getting 15% a day, not overall. Not like, okay, I'll pay you back in 20 days and you're gonna get $115. No, you're getting $15 a day and you want repayment in 20 days. So that is crazy. Whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's whatever, if they figure out a way to charge these micro businesses, um, uh, get them, cheaper loans, I'm all for it, man. Um, and it'll definitely help them strengthen their economy. If 66% are of their 1.2 million businesses are micro businesses. So and 90% are self-funded. So that's very interesting stuff. But just to see where everything is going, like you see where the crypto back loan, like I said, that's been going on because there's a bunch of DeFi projects that do that already. But just with the mortgage company we just talked about, Milo, now El Salvador, just find the whole thing extremely interesting. Okay. Last but not least, let's jump into it. So, what happened on I don't want to get my dates wrong, but I think it's January. Hold up, let's get to the other. So, a few things I want to mention about this. So, January 17th. So, on January 17th, 483 user accounts on crypto.com basically got compromised. Their funds were drained from their account. And the overall loss is valued at around 33.8 million per current market value. So 443.93 Bitcoin was taken out. 4,836.26 Ethereum were taken out, and approximately 66,000 in other currencies from the clients. But from crypto.com's point, it was all restored. What I really want to get into is a few things. I mean, look, sometimes it's not about if you're going to get breached, it's about when you're going to get breached. And the biggest thing is incident response and how you handled it. And I think their response and how and let's get into it. Let's get into what happened, how they got breached, and but their response and their actions, I just think was just so on point. So essentially for these accounts, 2FA, uh, it was bypassed, right? So 2FA, we started dealing with multi-factor authentication. So let's take a step back, right? Let's just, for some of the audience members, let's define what authentication is. So you think about, if you're not in technology, whatever, you just think about something being authentic. That means you know what it is. You can it's original. So think about yourself like that. So authentication is basically is a process of verifying who someone is or something, right? So, and when we think about multi-factor authentication, there are different levels to it. So, who what it's a whole saying, right? So I always I don't want to mess this up, but um, can we what something right? So that's like a password or something that right, that you remember, something you have. So some of you are familiar with having some sort of token ID that, if it's like an authenticator. So these numbers may change. And then if you go into like a third step, it's something you are. So that's when you start, the biometrics and the finger print scans, or if you want to get Mission Impossible with it, your retina scans and all sorts of stuff. So I mean that's for like ultra secure spots, but usually you would see it as one of those two things. But you think about it, on your phone, right? It's your fingerprint, so that's something that you are. So those are the aspects, right? Something, password. thinking about that, something you physically have. So that could be some sort of authentication device or some sort of token. And then it's something that you are. So your fingerprint, your something bio that's only unique to you. Even twins have different fingerprints or different retina scans. I'm not confirmed that the twins with the retina scans. I'm assuming so, but I know they have different fingerprints from reading stuff. All right, so now that we had that little brief intro, so essentially in this case, um, there were transactions were being approved without the 2FA, so something that you have authentication control being inputted. So it was totally bypassed, which I want to drill down because that obviously impacts what I do in terms of just from a professional standpoint. So I would understand why their 2FA was bypassed. I'm not clear on that part or how it was bypassed or the details of that. But anyway, it was. It was detected unauthorized activity on a small number of user accounts where transactions were being approved without 2FA authentication control being inputted by the user. So they basically put shut it down, right? That's why it only impacted 483 users, and they said all users' accounts were restored. So I guess they got back their money. So a couple of things that I want to talk about is the response to it. So if you go on their website, let me put down you put down the source because it's just a real this I'm impressed with the response. The companies are doing that now. They're getting better at okay, I got breached. Okay, here's how we're gonna like respond and let people know what we're doing to correct the situation. I'm gonna put in the chat right now, crypto.com um security. Just writing it out. Give me a second. Security report response. I think it was awesome. I think it's good. It's good notes just from a professional standpoint to learn from how they responded. 1 second. I'm gonna get you guys the link. Give me a second, and then we'll get into it. Here we go. All right, I just chatted the link. Let me put it. So I think it's not chatting on LinkedIn, so I'll just put it on the screen. Google that. When you watch this video again, you can pause it and get that link and put it in the URL, but it's public. So how they responded, okay, they said, okay, it was bypassed. Like I said, the details of that currently unknown, at least from my standpoint. Obviously, they have more details, but what they did share was a summary of what happened, right? And the details that it was bypassed. Then they went into, okay, this happened. We restored the funds, small number of users, we caught it. Now, you know, what are we doing to correct the problem? So they totally revamped and migrated to a totally new 2FA infrastructure. All the existing 2FA tokens around the world were revoked to ensure. So once it's revoked, as a user, you can't, whether you got breached or not, you can't use that. When you go into their new infrastructure, you have to go through their mandatory 2FA policies on the front end. Now they have 2FA policies both on the front end and back end to protect users during this revocation phase. As outflows such as withdrawals have a requirement to set up and use 2FA in order to withdraw. Um, they introduced an additional layer of security to add a mandatory 24-hour delay between registration of a new whitelisted withdrawal address. So um, when you interact with them as a user, they have to basically put you have like a new IP there. They have to basically whitelist that. So they're saying it's going to be a 24-hour delay, so it's not going to happen immediately. Obviously, if you are a nefarious actor trying to get in, then you would have a whole new IP. So they want to wait 24 hours. Uh, Users will receive notifications that withdrawal addresses have been added to give them adequate time to react and respond. So you'll get notified that as a user, if someone's trying to withdraw from an unknown address. Um, they also now are introducing the Worldwide Account Protection Program, WAP. Uh, yeah, I'm not gonna get into the song about that, but yeah. So the Worldwide Account Protection Program. Uh, so what does that mean? So it looks like it's some sort of insurance policy up to 250K, but there are to qualify for that program, there are stipulations that the users must go through. So number one, multi-factor authentication, all transaction types must be enabled. Number two, the set up an anti-phishing code at least 21 days prior to reported unauthorized transaction. You can't use jailbroken devices. So sometimes people use jailbroken or modified devices. You must file a police report and provide a copy of it to crypto.com. I find that interesting. So if you get breached, you file I'm gonna need to do some investigation because I've never heard of anyone actually how that works in terms of filing a police report, because they're a Singapore based company. I get breached, I'm in the US. Yeah, be a very interesting conversation. Like I'm going to talk to a author. They probably don't even know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so that's interesting. Complete a questionnaire to support a forensic investigation. So those are the criterias to get involved with to qualify for the Worldwide Account Protection Program. I, I just essentially my big thing is the incident response and the handling of it. I just respect it. You know, and it wasn't, far reaching. So 33 million is not a nominal. So it's still a number, right? It's still a huge number, but it's not as huge as we've seen in other instances of breaches and the remediation costs to fix it and so forth. Yeah, so just found it interesting. Found those articles for today and this week. Like I said, a lot of things happening. Thanks for riding with me. Wow, I've been talking for 28 minutes. Goodness. Yap, 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 yap. So I think that concludes it for this week. Always a pleasure with you guys. Whether you're looking at this live, whether you're going to look at this, I don't know, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for taking your time out of your day to listen to the Tech Behind FinTech. We appreciate it, and we will be back next week, 12 p.m. EST, Friday, as usual during our live session. Once again, you know what? Always got to drop this because you have a website, and now right now it's just a website. Maybe in the future it'll be a platform. Hint, hint. But you can also watch the show live from our website. So I'm gonna put that in the put that in the chat. I can see it there, and I'm gonna also put it right there. techbehindfintech.com. It's our website. Let me hide that now. Listen, look, I enjoy doing the research. I enjoy bringing you some of the news. Look forward in the future. Like I said, we'll have some. Oh, I think there's an error with one of the postings, but it's all good. Yeah, so look forward to talking about this stuff. As you can tell, I'm passionate about it. Yeah, so we'll just be bringing you current content, guests in the future, and things like that. Once again, thank you for tuning in into the Tech Behind FinTech.com. I wish everyone happy and exciting weekend. Yes, have an exciting weekend. Like why not have a great, spectacular, exciting weekend? It's all good to do that. Anyway, you take care and cheers.